Oh my gosh. I just got done the interview with Mark. This interview is insane. Okay. Please, if you're in Yield Notes, watch this and share it with anybody in Yield Notes because we need to all like grieve together. This is a major loss. What happened in Yield Nodes is absolutely horrible. It's disgusting. My heart goes out to every person involved, myself included, everybody that invests in Yield Nodes. It's absolutely crazy what just happened, and we need to talk about it. So in this video, I talk with Mark. Yes, he legit lost 800K. 800K. Okay? It's unbelievable. Gone. And so in this interview, I ask him, what is your message to the Yield Notes team? How are you coping with it? What's your next best play? How are you going to get this money back? Do you believe the team actually has it in them to recover the funds? He goes into depth. It's an amazing interview. Guys, please like the video, help the YouTube algorithm. Let's get everybody in Yield Notes community to watch this video because at the end, I ask an important question and we direct it to the Yield Notes team. Just watch the interview. All right, guys, I have the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Mark. Mark, what's up?
What's going on, Jonathan?
Well, I'm super excited that you chose to join me. This is not the most exciting interview you've probably ever done.
Nah, I can't say it is.
Here's what I know. Everyone that clicked on this button, the little thumbnail, you clicked on it probably because you yourself are in or were in Yield Notes and you've suffered an amazing loss. And I told Mark, I said, Mark, let's come on here and just have an honest conversation about how you're feeling, how you cope with this, because all of us feel to some degree like, what the frick just happened? We got literally the rug pulled out from under us. How do you deal with it? How do you cope with it? So as full disclosure, I'll share my screen, guys. I was in Yield Notes after James Pelton came back and I put 8,000 bucks in. And
that's couch money.
yeah, it's couch money to you, but for me, I was like, man, this is a good amount because this was kind of a blue chip considered project, and so that's it. But I want to share with you something that's going to like make you go nuts. This is Mark's account. He gave me permission to show this, and it's just disgusting. So without further ado, bam, there it is. That is his account. Mark, how does this make you feel?
Awesome. Just awesome. Fortunately, I also saw Yield Nodes as kind of the blue chip, the safe bet. So all the money I had in there was basically every piece of profit that I've seen in the last year and a half in DeFi. So there really isn't much of my own money in there, if you will, if you don't consider my winnings my own money. It sucks, but it's almost like starting from scratch now.
Let's start from the beginning. How'd you hear about Yield Notes?
Honestly, I don't even remember, to be honest with you.
Are you on YouTube a lot, watching a lot of people?
Yeah.
And so someone probably talked about it. You looked
Yeah,
into
I got into DeFi about a year and a half ago. I started with yield farming and then found the dApps and a lot of the stuff on YouTube to just be more interesting, more fun. And at the end of the day, just kind of tried every project a little bit, and the ones that I liked, I tried a lot more. I'm doing really well except for this, to be honest. So as you and I were discussing the other day, I could still finish the year up quite a bit, but right. I'm pretty much writing off this money. I'll tell you that, because I have zero confidence that anyone's going to see anything.
We're going to get to that, what you think is going to happen and all that. But before you do, run me through the story. Okay, so it says total deposits 826,000. Is this the symbol for pounds?
No, that's euros.
Wow. So this could even be worth close to $1 million when the market is, the US dollar is more. Right now, the pound's smaller, but whatever. So this is how much you put in. Now, how many deposits were you able to take out? Because it says you have some pending funds, which everyone in Yield Notes know. You guys know he ain't going to get this, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've taken out, I don't exactly remember exactly how much, but again, this was basically where I went to put profits. I'm pretty good about taking profits off of projects. I'm disciplined. And this is just happens to be, where most of those profits would go every day. I mean, I do, you know, at this point, I mean, with a lot of the successful ones, I mean, multiple thousands of dollars per day that I'm pulling out of each protocol.
Right.
So there were deposits pretty much every day into yield nodes, for the last few months.
Wow. And now you're not going to see any of these pending funds, right? Like these,
I mean,
that,
if you let's talk about this, right? Because I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos, and everyone wants to feel confident about this plan to get to real assets. And thank you for taking that off the screen, for
yeah,
Christ.
no problem. And if you don't mind getting closer to your mic, it'll be easier to hear you.
Yeah. It's easy to I guess it's not easy to do anything, but I think everyone wants to be hopeful that yield nodes is going to be able to quote unquote turn it around. But I'm pretty much writing this off. If you think about it the way that I think you would think about it practically, if it wasn't your money in there, um, these guys lost what, $300 million in under 3 months. And I don't really think it was a Ponzi. I do think that they just had shit coins and they were pumping them up, and they hit the floor. I think a lot of that is true. But if you think about, you lose 300 million, or call it 200 million, whatever they lost in 3 month period. What investors realistically are going to give these guys another 300 million and have them go and open a bunch of solar power plants? Not to mention, like, what qualifies these guys to operate these types of businesses, and why are they being placed in places like Iran? I have so many questions that are never going to get answered. And my feeling is that they know the money's gone, and that it's going to be a pipe dream for it to come back. But they're going to just try to string it out for as long as they can, because it'll sting less.
Yeah.
A year from now, it'll sting even less. Two
Yeah.
years from now.
There's
So
definitely like a psychology to the rug pull and how to do it. And I wonder if they're playing the handbook right now by give everybody hopium and let them know, hey, your money isn't lost, it's on pause. But
right.
what did you think of that interview that the founder and CEO, Stefan or Steve, whatever, we'll just call him Steve for now. What do you think he did about, like, you and I started talking, we're like, wait a minute, he said he could only repay 10% of everybody's money, and he didn't want to do that because he doesn't want anybody to lose. Like, but you and I were like, wait a minute, why can't he pay back 100% of everybody's deposits? Why do you think he can't do that?
Well, I do think that much of the money is lost, and I think that there's a misconception on this 10%, right? So if everyone was to receive their quote unquote 10%, in theory, I think you'd be receiving a lot of the SAF coins, and I think after the first or second dozen people goes and tries to cash those out, price of SAF goes, through the gutter. And I think that what you think would be 10% of your money would be a lot less than 10% of your money at the end of the day. So I think they recognize that giving people money back probably would cause more issues than solve problems. Do I think they're actually trying to do something to right the ship? I don't know. The trust is gone. I don't really believe in these guys at all. The guy looks like a deer in headlights. He looks afraid. I would be. What just confuses me though is these guys were there for the audit. I'm assuming that you had some pretty smart guys there. Your boy Pelton was there, and they're showing that they've got 30%, over 30% in reserves, mostly held in cold storage in Bitcoin. So I would just
Right.
love to know how we get from Bitcoin and cold storage to
Yeah.
to shit.
That's a great question.
Basically
Like,
in
when did
three
they tap
months.
into that reserve? Why did
Right,
they? And what did they do with the reserve? Where is it? Did they
right,
buy up their crappy tokens? Um,
right,
because it
right.
seemed like in the interview he was saying we kept trying to like raise the floor, buy our own tokens. But I would want to do, like, I wish someone smarter than me would kind of do the math on that sell pressure and how much was trying to go back in. Because there's a lot of money that just isn't accounted for at this point, it
Agreed.
seems like.
Agreed. It wouldn't surprise me if, the partners of this firm, are holding a bunch of money, but I don't truthfully, I mean, and I should think otherwise maybe, but I don't think it was a Ponzi. I don't think that they were taking, maybe toward the end when they got in trouble, but I don't
Hmm.
think they were taking new investors' money and paying, the
Yeah.
first people in. I do think that they, were pumping shit coins and especially SAF and at the end of the day, just it didn't go well. When the price hit the floor, they just couldn't keep pumping it anymore. And
Yeah. People
here
said,
we are.
how come they didn't tell us about this? And it's like, well, because they were trying a bunch of
What would you
different things.
say? Yeah, what would you
Yeah,
say?
and you're just going to cause mass panic, and so I understand that to that degree. But and then people say, well, I think investors should have the right to their own money. The reason you don't have a right to your money is they don't have it. And you just have to let that sink in for a moment, guys. Originally, I wanted to give the benefit of the doubt that he just wanted to keep his friend's team employed. And so, he didn't want to just, because he knew if he opens it up to withdrawals, 99% of people probably would have taken him up on that. And then they don't have a company anymore. He doesn't have a life, job, whatever. He looks like a failure, walks around the house feeling like crap. So he's like, what if I can we're just going to reformat our business model. That's what we're going to do. And then someone probably told him, hey, bro, we have like no money. Yeah, but the people don't need to know that, because we'll take that 10%, we'll 10x it. And here's how we're going to do it. It's a greater than 0% chance of 10xing. So let's sell the dream. Let's just sell the dream. These people will buy it because it's DeFi and nobody holds anyone accountable. And so, and by the way, when he brings up in the interview, oh, and by the way, when you click deposit, you did sign a digital agreement that says we
Right.
can do whatever we want with your funds.
No, Jonathan, he's right.
He's
Hate to tell
right.
you, he's 100% right, and you got to know the risks when you get involved in these projects, and that's why I'm writing it off. At the end of
So
the
you're
day,
not
no,
going to go to court and go up, follow this guy? Like, what do you think of all these lawsuits that are pending?
I don't think there's any money to go get to seize assets with, or I would, truthfully. I'm
Yeah.
moving on. I'm disappointed. And I'd be pleasantly surprised if I was completely wrong about this. And I'll leave that 1% of hope in the back of my head that maybe we'll see some of the money again. But you take it as a learning experience. You act a little bit smarter, and I'm in a fortunate position where I can make it back. And because it's DeFi, as long as we don't have another rug pull or another major protocol that I'm heavily invested in going under in the next couple of months, I'll probably be back up in 40 something days from what I can calculate.
Yeah.
So that's it, man.
Well, I wanted to share this with you too. I'm not sure if you're a car guy, but just to encourage you, if you wanted to buy a Ferrari SF90, the convertible one, it's only $507,000. Just wanted to share that with you. How does that make you feel?
Do you think I don't have that?
Oh, mic drop, baby.
Yeah, I don't like to think of it that way. I probably would buy a Ferrari, but not with that money. I was
What,
trying to do
like,
something.
when were you planning? Like, let's talk about that, because a lot of guys watching this had $1,000, 500. They would dream to have 800,000. What we should talk about, like, how did you get to where you're at? What do you do currently? And then I want to ask you, like, how do you deal with this? But like, in my mind, I do think about like 800,000 as like a nice house on the beach anywhere in America with a nice Ferrari Lambo sitting in the driveway, pretty much paid for. Like, that's freaking crazy to me.
That's
So
incorrect. That's incorrect. No,
incorrect.
no,
Why?
that's not anywhere in the country. $800,000 in California or New York won't get you much, my man, and they definitely won't
It
get
gets you
you.
a down payment, my friend, at least the down payment.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. A lot of I had, we were making, anywhere from 5 to 9%, all
Yeah.
year because I've been in yield nodes since last, middle of last year. So I'd say probably half of that money is compounded interest because I hadn't pulled out much. I pulled out a little here or there.
Right.
Um,
Let's
so
do the calculator on that. So if you were making, like, let's just do 6% on 800,000 times 6%. So you're making like 48,000, which is like bigger. What's the national average, national USA salary average?
You're just gonna break this down every which way,
Look
huh?
at this. So the average gross annual wage full-time employee in the US was 74,000. That's a lot higher than I thought. I gotta start making more money.
That's
Um,
that's up. That's up,
that's
definitely.
that's up big time.
Yeah.
I thought it was like
Yeah.
50. Here it is. Median salary in the US.
It was like 55.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second quarter of 2022. That's weird that that data came up that way. But either way, like you were doing that in, let's say, 1 or 2 months.
Yeah. It
What
was
would
like
you?
30, it was between like 25 and $35,000 a month in interest that was being
Wow. So
compounded.
would you just take that, put it in, like what was your strategy? Talk about, like, because you're a whale. How, what would you do with it? Would you immediately put it in fiat? Do you go buy Bitcoin with it?
Little, all of the above, throw it in, throw some money in Vanguard, I have a bunch of Bitcoin in cold storage. I was spreading a lot of money. I'm trying to get to a place where it was evenly spread across, some of the protocols that I kind of like and trusted for what I consider to be kind of the crypto side of my investment portfolio. But the problem is you start to fall in love with certain projects and you start to like some, and before you know it, your balance goes up a lot more on some versus others, and then things like this happen. But I was probably going to let it get to about 1 million, and then maybe cut it in half, maybe take half out, and then reallocate it someplace else.
Where were you when you heard the news? And like, do you remember that feeling? Like how did it go down?
I got an email from a buddy of mine who I told about yield nodes and who was invested in it. Another guy that likes to invest big like myself and gamble big, I should say. Because this is not investing, this is gambling. Let's be clear, everybody.
I like that. You said that. Yep.
You say it all the time, especially when you're talking about gold bridge and sacrifices. I mean, if you can't take losses like this, you should not be in DeFi, or you should definitely not be in DeFi to the extent that losing money is going to make you upset. This is you should not be gambling anything that you're not willing to lose. But I got an email from a buddy of mine, and he said, "Hey, our funds got locked up in yield nodes today," and I was like, talking about, man. So I went and checked it out. And the first time I remember the first time I read the email, I didn't panic because I was like, oh, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. They should be getting into more real world investments, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. And
Right.
then just like anything else, you kind of like let it sit a little while. And then before I knew it, YouTube started to go crazy. And, my network, my crypto network, I should say, started to, express some concern, and then before I knew it, I was like, "Wow, this is really not good. This is not good." I had a withdrawal that I had put in about maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks before then, something like $180,000 or something like that. And then the question was like, "Are you going to get that? Are you at least going to get the withdrawal that was put in?" And yeah, you're not even going to get that.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a
So
pending withdrawal as well, way less than yours, but kiss that goodbye. Um, yeah. So, I mean, what do you think about the whole like DeFi space? Like, are you kind of on your way out now? I mean, if yield nodes doesn't last, how do you feel about all these other projects? Is there anything you're super excited about, or?
yeah, I'm excited about a lot of projects.
Okay.
But look, the way I see it, and again, I haven't been in this long, I guess, a little over a year and a half, but I guess what I've learned is you're gonna lose a couple every year. You're gonna win a bunch, you're gonna lose a bunch. But if you go into it knowing that you're gonna lose and you diversify well, and you kind of, if you have, for example, if you have 5 or 6 projects that you like and that you've done your research on, you feel comfortable about, and that have gone well, try to, at least what I try to do, not financial advice, but I try to put about an equal amount of money in all 5 or 6 of those, with the assumption that one of them is going to go out, or maybe two. And what do I feel about DeFi? I mean, what type of gambling or what type of call
Yeah.
it investment, if you will, can you bounce back as quickly as I'm going to bounce back from something like this, right? I mean, and some of
Yeah.
these projects are paying 1% a day, 1.5% a day, and they make sense. The tokenomics are good. So if you have that mentality that you're gonna sometimes you're gonna be the bug, sometimes you're gonna be the windshield, you know, and if you can split your money pretty evenly to the extent that even when you lose one or two, you still win. I think it's a great space, but you got to learn how to do research and not trust some of the nonsense that you hear on YouTube for sure.
Right. Um, a lot of viewers are going to ask, like, how did you get to be where you're at to be able to lose 800,000 and just kind of shrug it off, like, take the L? What did you do? Like, because a lot of us want to make more income and maybe, you obviously are doing well.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was a broker for, many years. I owned my own brokerage firm. I sold that 4 years ago. So I did well. And at the end of the day, I got a lot of different investments. I'm in real estate. Crypto's the most fun for me. I'll tell you that. It's what I spend the most time on currently because
Yeah, it's
it's
addicting, man.
exciting and it's addicting. It is definitely
It's like
addicting.
sports bet. Like I'll watch the Monday night football game. I got like $300 on the game, but it makes it more exciting watching the game, you
Right.
know? And
100%.
and it's the same with crypto, waking up every day and being like, "Oh frick, what's the price? Oh no, it rug pulled."
Yeah, or just cashing out your stakes if you're staking something
Yeah.
and you're making a few $1,000s a day. I mean, and that's been happening for months and months and months. Get excited every single time. You're able to pull that kind of money out of something that you haven't really been in for that long. So it's addicting. But it's one of a few things that I'm in, and I'll be careful that if I lost every penny that I have invested in here that I'll still be okay, which makes me, I'm sure, somewhat unique. But I
Hmm.
would encourage anyone to do the same. Don't put all your money in DeFi expecting to not have to work and be home all day. Only the YouTubers get to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's our job, right? But
Right.
what about are you in Drip Animal Farm, can I ask?
I am.
What do you
I
think
am.
of these projects? We got the Animal Farm launching tomorrow. If you're watching this video, it's already launched. But what do you think of Forex's projects? Do you think they'll ever rebound to the all-time highs?
I'm excited about the Animal Farms launching tomorrow. I've been looking forward to it. Been stacking up my pigs a little bit. We'll see. I don't know what the starting APR is going to be. Probably going to be high, before those liquidity pools fill up. Again, something as addicting as DeFi. Forex has been around for a while. He's got a really cool ecosystem. And I'm pretty well invested in Drip as well. So I'm looking forward to it. It's just another thing to play with. You
Yeah, I
know, I,
think I think the one thing that I learned this year was, one, I learned what Ponzonomics means and
yeah,
how most of these projects rely on new capital to keep them going. So immediately, my first response was anything that's Ponzonomics, I'm not touching. But now I see it as this is a casino and these are slot machines. They're
right.
games. So it's like, oh, if I could learn how to play the Ponzonomic game, then maybe I'll do that. And a lot of times it's just show up early, know when to get out before everybody
Right.
else. Don't be the
Take
last bag
profit.
holding. And it's you might say, what a horrible space to be in. You're right.
Nah.
Just like a casino's a horrible space, but guess what? They're not illegal. They let people go to them. They say gamble at your own risk. Like, I like a free society that lets people do that. And if you don't like a casino, you know what you should do? Just don't go to one.
Don't go to one. Right.
You don't have to
Right.
preach and tell others not to go. Just don't go for yourself. But some of us have done well in the crypto casino, you yourself included. But we're talking about taking a major L. My last question, because I want to let you go back to your day and not belabor this horrible incident that happened in your life. I'm sure you have other things to think about, but
Sure.
I have a feeling the team from Yield Notes is probably going to watch this video. Uh, Given just I know the reach of my videos and um, just curious if you've thought of like what you would say if you could say something to the leaders at Yield Notes.
Just tell the truth, be transparent. There's a lot of people that are not taking this the way maybe you or I is taking it, and can take a loss. I'm sure there were hundreds, if not thousands, of people that had all their chips in the middle, betting on yield nodes, probably thought they were doing really well, and who may or may not see money ever again. And I think that just offering transparency, way more transparency than you have, certainly the last week. Just, maybe do one of those videos he did with, most recently once a week, but
Yeah.
not just not
Updates on the
putting
progress.
updates. And, look, at the end of the day too, it's like, start like showing your cards. If you had investors give you $300 million, let's see
Yeah.
the plan. Let's see
Let's see it now.
who are
You're
the
right.
investors. Like, like everything is just behind the curtain. Don't look at the man behind the curtain. Like, that's not going to fly anymore. People are going to, if
Yeah.
they already are, but people are just going to lose their minds eventually if you keeping the secrets, to yourself. So that would be my advice, is be
I love
way more
that.
transparent and
I
get
love
out there
that.
and
And
prove it.
because I'm thinking about, as flashy as your number is, there's someone that lost 5,000 and that was their last 5,000. And for, it's a huge, hard lesson learned. Um, but yeah, show your books to the Yield Notes team. Here's what I want you guys to do to help. Like, tag them in the video or just leave a comment. Let's get this video out here. The question I want you to answer in the video is just in the comments row, I lost blank in Yield Notes. Post your losses. I've done it. Mark's doing it. All of us together are going to have one big kumbaya. We all suck. We lost big time. But at the end of the day, like I was telling Mark, like, we don't suck because we didn't do anything wrong. We didn't over leverage ourselves. We were fully transparent. Like, we sleep fine at night. It's the team at Yield Nodes that has to really answer to some of the stuff they've done. Cause I have a feeling there's some stuff that they did that was not right and over leveraged. And here we are. So
Yeah, we know the
thank,
risks. At
yep.
the end of the day, diversify, take profits. And do your own research. Do your research, man.
I love it. Well, Mark, maybe we'll have you
Yeah.
back on the channel when if you win big on some of these projects and then you can
I'll
say
come back when I'll come back when I've made it back.
I made it back. That'll be the title of the video. I made it back. What Yeah, so let's do that. I want to have him back. Oh, is there any project that like you want to talk about that you're in, or is there anything about your social you want to shill?
I don't know. My favorite project right now, without question, is Optimus. Without question. So
OPT3.
OPT3, man, all day.
Really? Bro,
Yep.
that's one of my largest holdings right now.
Same.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
but you know why? It's because DeFi dude keeps saying, I have a year-long marketing plan. And we know he has the money to like pump it, like not pump it, fake pump, but like to get resources to talk about their project. He has so much money, and I think he has 1.2 million at the time of this video. So he could take a couple days of what he's making and literally Google ads the heck out of it, or get,
That's
do all
that's what
sorts
he's
of ways.
doing. He partnered with Rastafari now, and they're putting out a pretty sick marketing plan. So yeah, no, that's probably my favorite one right now.
He could
Um,
get like Steve Will Do It. He could get all these famous YouTubers. I got Happy Dad. Like there's so much money that their team is making that, I mean, there's really no reason they can't have the best marketing team out there. So that's why I'm in it too. Cause I'm like, bro, we're in early, even though we've
oh
already
yeah,
doubled or tripled.
I got in at like 30 cents, so I'm
Yeah,
happy.
frick,
Yeah,
man, that's amazing.
yeah, man, happy, very happy. Go DeFi, dude, all day. DeFi,
Yeah.
dude.
Hopefully he sees this video. Shout out to him. All
Yeah,
right, guys, please in the comments, let us know. I lost blank in Yield Notes. I want the team from Yield Notes to see real life people. This is real life. It sucks. And I really do invite the Yield Notes team to come do an AMA with someone that you're like, oh, he might ask some tough questions. Yeah, I might. Come on my channel. No more insider interviews. That's so stupid. It's lame. And that's not being transparent. So come on my channel and let's have an honest conversation. Do one with me and James Pelton. Let's do a whole bunch of them. Mark can even come on here. We'll just have it. We want to help you, Yield Nodes, get back to where we need to be. So Mark, thanks so much for your time. I really
thanks,
appreciate it.
Jonathan. Yep, take care, man.
All right, guys, go ahead, leave that comment, like the video, and we'll see you in the next one.